To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. You won't bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Is enough. Is enough. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, the queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And today we have a return here. We got Joseph AGame. What is going on?
Yo, can y'all hear me? Everything is good here? Are we all good on my end?
Yeah, you're good. So
Perfect.
I see.
Perfection.
Good cop back. You said thought the episode was only 18 seconds. Yes, it was that quick. The original, I had a little audio error, so I stopped it and then restarted it. So you guys know how the drill is. So, it's been 2 years since you've been on
2 years.
Indie Wrestling Corner. I looked it up today.
2 years.
Lots happened. A lot has happened.
To say, I'm pulling up the stream now on my phone. But yeah, to say the least, a lot's happened. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
We got some gold, you know. We got a lot of different matches going on pretty much within 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Partners, tag team, regular championship, belts galore. Everybody's collecting belts, coming onto the podcast, talking about all this good stuff and everything.
No, but it's been a very eventful 2 years since, I honestly can't believe it's been 2 years, and it's been 4 years since I started wrestling, and that to me is even like, wow.
I know.
Time flies.
Like, I look at it like a lot of times, like, Angelo Carter came on. Actually, when you came on the week before, 2 years ago, Angelo Carter I had on first, and then you came on the week after, and then Angelo just came on a couple of weeks ago, and then
yeah.
So it's kind of funny how this all kind of like happened. We had Quasi come on. Also, was that last week? Also, so that was kind of fun going on. Lots. It's crazy. Everything's happened. So that's why we bring returns back onto this podcast and everything like that. Let's see. Wrestling Open is delayed because of broken rope. There's take one was 18 seconds long. Who jinxed indie wrestling today? Oh, damn. I didn't jinx it.
Boy.
There must be something in the water, some shit like that. So. But anyway,
they're all professionals. They could work with two ropes, and if they can't,
has that happened to you before? Has that happened like in a match?
Nothing has happened like where, I mean, thankfully, where things have like malfunctioned in that sense. But like I have wrestled in a ring where it's only been like two ropes, or like I've wrestled in a ring where they're like, "Yo, don't go to that corner, or this ring is gonna like explode." Like, you know what I mean? No, but like. Yeah, I've wrestled like where in the ring where it's like two ropes, and then like, you know, there's been stuff, but it's never been like the rope has broke or nothing. God forbid, like that's a, you know, crazy thing to happen. So
have you done a no rope match since we're talking about this now?
Oh damn! Now I gotta think. Have I done a no rope match? No, I mean, like I've done like no rings, but that doesn't really fit the confine. Like
Right.
when you think no rope, you think like blood sport.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, but I have not done a no rope match. I don't think so.
I feel like that could
Yeah.
be something that eventually we could see you on, like a blood sport going on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think
Absolutely.
it's definitely fitting for, your style, and everything like that. So those are
Absolutely.
crazy. Like some of the matches are absolutely bonkers. But
Yep.
so make sure guys share the stream, hit that like button, appreciate that. So if you haven't, again, he's been on 2 years ago, so if you haven't watched that interview, feel free, go back, watch that interview so we could learn a little bit more. We're going to go a little more detailed this episode, since we broke everything from basics and everything like that. If you got questions, drop them into the chat. I appreciate it very much. So let's start here. Let's start, like, I feel like storytelling, right, in wrestling is kind of like one of my favorite things in wrestling. And I know with a lot of promotions, that's very important to a lot of promoters and everything, is like telling the story into the ring or whatever. And we're going to start with BST wrestling, like you have the belt over there too. So we're going to talk about this. So I've been watching this from the very beginning with everything with BST wrestling. So I know I talked about this with Kwazi Asante on the podcast. He was with me in the front row when you wrestled Landon, which is kind of nice because like you came out and you were like that was kind of like the introduction to like BST wrestling with you guys.
It was the soft open.
Yeah. And then we had going forward, and it's like, okay, he came and attacked the Haven and everything. And we talked about this also too, of him like taunting, the Haven's mom and the family and everything like that, which led into matches, outdoors. Then we also had the all black everything show, and then we just finished off with the closeout of you guys versus the Haven, which was insane.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one to drop on IWTV. That's going to be such a good one, man. Yeah, it's a big story that I'm very happy we got to tell, and I'm very thankful. Believe it or not, I'm very thankful for BST for allowing us to have the platform to tell this story, because although, like you did say, Tiff, a lot of promotions love storytelling, love, not a lot of promotions on the independents especially do stories.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of, hey, this is our guy. We're going to put him against X, Y, and Z. We'll bring some names in, and then hopefully he flies out the coop. She flies out the coop. They fly out the coop, and boom. You know, to me, I feel like independent wrestling, or the values of independent wrestling that I came up on, at least, was things that attracted me to go to those shows, to, hey, let me buy this $15, $20, $30 ticket and sit front row and watch what's going to happen. One of my favorite stories previous to, wrestling was HOG. I think like this is like 2017 or 2016, and it was Ken Broadway versus Leo Rush, and they wrestled once, and Ken Broadway won, and it was such an amazing match, and it was such a good match that they had a program out of it, and it circled back 1 year later, and I went to both matches. I went to the first one and the second one, and it's just, when you're invested into something, it's so easy to put everything aside and be like, yo, this match right here. I think that elevates things. So at BST, I'll start from the very, very, very beginning. At BST, I first got, put onto BST in a multi-man match against none other than Miracle Generation. And that's been my story of being in Connecticut for the 3-4 years that I was working shows around that area. Was I was always around these people, which is why, the whole my son thing comes from, nephew, all that stuff, is because they saw me and wanted to adopt me in. And, personally, a lot of people will take that as a good thing, as a sign of like, they should respect me, and they see that I'm a good talent and they want to bring me in. Cool. Me personally, that's a sign of disrespect. I am not. I'm not a B side. I'm not a nephew. I'm not a son. You know, I'm a mainstay. I am who I say I am, and I've always been that way. And it felt like everybody was buying into that. Everybody was buying into that narrative of being, oh, you know, Kailang's son, or everybody was buying into that narrative of being the adopted one from Miracle Generation. Everybody was buying into that, and I just had to say no. That's not how things are going. So, you know, I opened up some doors. I brought Quasi in. I brought Angelo in. And, you know, here we are. Things have changed. I think people are starting to really see the star power, not just from me, but from all three of us. You know, I think people are really starting to see, like, okay, no, he's not meant to be in their shadow. This guy's the truth, you know? So it was never a hatred for the Haven, but it was something that needed to be done. I needed to take that step over them, and I needed to bring those who I knew were with me along that journey. So that's more or less how we got here from that story. You know, to say the least. Obviously, there's more bumps and bruises on the road, the Landon match, which we'll definitely talk about. But you know, for the Haven story, at least, it started when I first started at BST a couple years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Let me shout out quickly Junie Underwood. He's on Twitch. Oh man, are we getting like the Periscope that they're actually able to talk to us now? Because I see that he's actually writing us on the Periscope saying AGame is tearing it up. Look at that.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, that's new.
Maybe when I stream like tomorrow or something, I'll be able to see that too.
Yeah, that's new because like it's funny because like make sure you follow AGame on Twitch, which we'll talk about everything like later and stuff like that in this podcast. But like I go into his stream and I'm like, the one thing that's been going on for the longest is that nobody can conversate on the Periscope anymore. So I'm actually really excited now that I see that Junie's in there answering, you know, in the chat over there. So what's going on, Junie? So it's so crazy. Yeah, so definitely watch when this comes up on IWTV. Watch this. You know, BST Wrestling obviously is a big place. We're here on the Indie Wrestling Corner as well. So many matches. So let's, you know, if you want, we could continue. We could talk about like you and Landon. You know, there's so much stuff that we could say about like Landon. This was a great match for you both. And I think also, right, that I think you had said this, right, that it was something that you needed a match like this, right? That Kaiga like elevated Kaiga like you to like the next level, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like, not for nothing, like, shout out Landon Hale. You know what I mean? Like, Landon is he's on the level that a lot of people aspire to be at. You know, he's got all the tools in the shed, and he's a, you know, very, very, very great, sweet person that is a pleasure to be around inside and outside the ring, you know? So, like, I just want to shout him out first and foremost. But going into that match, it wasn't about winning the BST championship for me. Going into that match, it was about really taking that leap. I had hurt my shoulder. I mean, that match happened in April of last year. I guess I hurt my shoulder, you know, a couple months before that, the summer of, or towards the middle or towards the end of summer of 2023. And it was a pretty bad shoulder injury, and I had to sit out for a couple months. I made my return to Pro Wrestling Grind in October or November that same year. And I wasn't 100%, which I don't think I ever will be, and neither will any wrestler that wrestles this unless you have the money to really invest in your body. But I wasn't really 100%, and I just didn't feel like myself. You know, I had the shorts. I was starting to do the deal where, you know, what you see today, but I did not feel like myself. You know, I was having decent opponents, good matches, and I wasn't capitalizing. So it took all the way until April of 2024 for me to have that opportunity. And Landon is an amazing, phenomenal wrestler, but I knew that I can pull something out. Like, I knew that match, I can wow some people. You know, we were the main event, and that was a card where there were so many amazing matches. Where I think that was like the same card where Flash and Gabe Sky wrestled. You know what I mean? So there were so many amazing matches where it was like, man, you really have to, no pun intended, bring your A game to really keep up with this. And I don't think that we just kept up. I think we made a very big statement with that match. And not for nothing, I don't think it was proven to BST management. I don't think it was proven to the boys in the back. I don't think it was proven to anybody associated with BST until that match happened. I don't think people were necessarily like, people were sold on me, of course, but I don't think people were sold on me. I don't think people were like, hold on, like this, I think we just got a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And I think that match with Landon opened that door. I think that was the match that made people say, okay, hold on, you know, something's happening here. And for me, at least, it was very much like that. I think that was the match 1 out of 4 or 5 that I had that weekend. So I had that Landon match and I was riding a high that entire weekend. And I don't think it slowed down since then. So
yeah, I feel like it kind of took you off a little bit. But I remember like after your match, and I remember walking around after the show, obviously you guys were main event and everything, and I walked over to Harry, and Harry saw my face, and he was like, because he was like, how did you do? And then like I had nothing to say, but he can just tell like how happy I was. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, it's just, I love wrestling. And it was just one of these moments and one of these shows that was like one of my favorite shows of like BST wrestling and everything like that. But I didn't even have to say anything because he just saw my face and he was like, yeah, I know you. He's like, you don't have to say anything. He was like, I already know. He was like, it was so like, good.
Yeah. So like, I mean, even with the tables match, like with the Haven, when that comes out and whatnot, that, you know, that's again, like that was something where obviously at this point, you know, I feel it was very established at BST. I have, you know, we won the tag team titles previously to that, but I felt like, okay, it's time to take this company by this, like, you know, not for nothing, but it's time to take this company by the balls and let's run with it. Like, you know what I mean? I think Diaspora is BST. You know what I mean? BST is Diaspora. Like now there is no negotiation for that. And the tables match was, again, a testament to that. I think the Landon match was a very, again, was the soft open. And it showed like, okay, A-Game is serious. He's dead serious. Like he's a mainstay here. And I think that tables match, which, you know, not for nothing and not to toot anybody's own horn because it's all 4 of us did this, but I think it's one of the best matches you'll find in BST history. And that tables match was my and Kwesi's love letter to actual independent wrestling at its core. I think that was what we wanted to go out there and do. And we wanted to show like, listen, there's a lot of outside noise, but we got this. When it comes to BST, we got this. So I think those 2 matches definitely put us on such a pedestal, but it was nothing that we were not ready for, you know?
Definitely. Now, it was funny because shout out to Zach. I was talking to Zach on the phone before this podcast for a while, and we were talking about the fact that Kwesi came on this podcast, and you were in the chat, and then he started talking about that during Black History Month that all the black wrestlers go 10 XP. So he said, who do you think got the most XP at BST during this match?
I would say honestly, the blood gave me at least at least 15 to 25 plus XP. Like the blood turned me up on a different level. I've never in my life, like I've done combat sports my entire life, so I've bled here and there and whatnot. I've gotten scrapes and bruises all over my face, but to sit there and see blood dripping down my face 3 minutes into a match, I was it woke me the fuck up. It was like All right, boy, you're here, man. Like this is exactly what this is exactly what you wanted. So it's time to put up or shut up. And I think I'm not gonna sit here and say I got the most XP, but I did put both of the members of the Haven through the table. So I ain't gonna lie, Quasi kind of let me down with him going through the table in like 10 minutes. I was like, yo, I was bleeding. I was fucked up. My gear was dirty and all that stuff. And then he's getting super kicked through a table. I'm like, yo, Quasi, like, like, bro.
He lost some XP there.
Yeah.
He definitely lost some there. Let me give love in this chat. Junie said that he's blessed to have wrestled Landon Hale. That was at DPW. I was there live for that. I love that. It was funny because a bunch of people I know with Junie that some of the fans weren't familiar with him, but they were kind of watching me with the interaction with like Junie and Landon and everything. So that was pretty funny. So that they kind of went off of that. Everything pro wrestling. Shout out to him. He said so. He's got you covered. AEW, WWE stuff. So give him some love also. Angelo Carter's in the chat. He goes, hello, girls. Hi. Dom's in the chat. He says, ask him his favorite book.
My favorite book. Ooh. Do I have it here? I think I do, actually. Should. Yes, I do. This is my favorite book right here. I've read this book about 3 times. It's a New York bestseller. It's by Mike Tyson, written and read by Mike Tyson, and it's called Iron Ambition, and it's about the story of Mike Tyson's coach, Cus D'Amato. If you don't know who Cus D'Amato is, he is one of the, if not the best boxing coach of all time. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson, Pinklin Thomas. Man, I mean, the list goes on. He's one of the best coaches. Teddy Atlas. Like I'm just thinking of names, but he was one of the best boxing coaches of all time. My father actually, sorry. My father had quite a boxing career. Wasn't nothing super special, but he did have quite a boxing career, and it was passed down to me. I never really took boxing up as a kid and all that stuff, but I did do wrestling. You know, I did do jiu-jitsu. I did do a lot of combat in my, early ages, early teens. But after like college, I just started to kind of fall in love with the sport of boxing. And I'm just blessed to have like a father who's so well inclined and so knowledgeable about the sport of boxing that he just was like, oh, opened up a can of worms type of thing. So now all we do is talk fighting. All we do is talk, who's going to win this, who's going to win that. And my biggest thing was I want to read. This was supposed to be a book for my character development. This was supposed to be a book for me to read to like gain ideas and put towards AGame and all that good stuff. But I actually fell in love with this book because you see what life was like for young black men, and I'll be completely honest, young black hopeless men that had absolutely nothing in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s and whatnot, but literally I had absolutely nothing, dealing with poverty and all of that stuff. You see how these young black men were impacted by just a guy that just gives them a chance. And, Mike Tyson talks about it in the book. He used to get bullied and go into a hallway after school, like an alleyway behind his school, and stay there for hours and just stay because he felt like that was the only time he had peace. And it's like, you hear things like that and you put that towards like your own life stories, and we're like, man, like, well, at least speaking from my experience, it's like, man, like, I've never been through things like that. I've never had to do things like that. You know what I mean? And you see how Cus D'Amato, who was the coach, he comes up to, a young Mike Tyson, and he's like, hey man, listen, like, you can be my world champion. He was 13 years old when he told him that. And it's like, when you have somebody speaking positivity into you, you have somebody speaking words of affirmation into you, they they elevate you in such a way. So it takes you on a good ride. It tells you everything about Cuss and tells you everything about Mike, and it tells you everything about their training coming up, traveling, his fights, his everything, man. So it's such a good book. I Iron Ambition, My Life with Cus D'Amato. It's by Mike Tyson. It's written and read by Mike Tyson. So please, I would definitely encourage you to check it out. It's such a good story.
There you go, Dom. Added to the book list. Conrad says, I heard good things about that book. Good Cop Bad Cop says, welcome back to Indie Wrestling Book Club. Yes. That comes up a lot on this podcast, but actually you find some really good books from the wrestlers. I love, I should, definitely incorporate that more. Angela says, Tiff, ask him why him and Quasi choose to wear blue, even though I don't have blue gear yet. So I had to wear camo.
So I don't know if Angela really want me to expose this right now, because I will. Because tell me how we in the group chat and everybody's like, all right, cool. What color are we doing? So we agreed on 2 colors. Blue and white, which was the first color that we had all been like, all right, cool. Like blue and white. I sent them like my reference. Angelo sent his reference. Quasi sent his reference. We were all like, all right, cool. Blue and white. Then I sent another one and I was like, hey, what do y'all think about this? And it was red and white and gold, which is the gear that the new gear that Angelo has now. We were like, all right, bet. We had this Harry Aaron photo shoot coming up. So in my head, I'm thinking, because I brought the blue and white up first, I'm thinking, all right, cool, blue and white. Like, we're blue and white. That's the first one. We're getting that one done. That's it. I got my blues done months ago. I had my blue done in the little 24. Quasi just got his blue before the BST show. So he was like, yeah, I want to wear it. Like, it was fire. Like, his blue gear is fire. So He was like, yeah, I want to wear it and whatnot. And then we looking at Angelo like,
damn.
Dang, where your shot?
He said, listen to the excuses wrong. This was in September, by the way.
but things happen though. Things happen though. You know what I mean? Like gear makers, and that's the gear maker that made my gear is a very good friend of mine. So like he helps me a little bit, but like it's not cheap to make gear. It's not cheap to make that. So like he helps me out a little bit, but even then it's still very, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we had to kind of put a pause on the red. Well, me and Quasi had to put a pause on the red. Angelo did the red, and then me and Quasi did the blue. So now we just stuck here with the black and gold gear that we all have. So we gonna figure it out. That 4 is not dysfunctional. That 4 is not dysfunctional. We just had a little.
He said I had already ordered my red, and they knew it was coming first.
But we ain't even like Angelo chose red first. That red first. Boom. Red first. So I mean, I did the blues not in September when we had spoken about it. He's right about that. I didn't do the blue in September. I did the blue when did I get the blue? I got the blue right before I wrestled Mikowski. So that was like the first weekend of December. So I got the blues in November. So 2 months after we spoke about it, I got the blues.
Angela said my blues coming in April. This is why you have to buy the wrestlers merch and their stickers and their lighters and whatever it is that they have, because it helps them go and pay for their merch. I mean, their gear and all this fun stuff. And so make sure support your favorite wrestlers so they can buy some gear so that they don't have this problem.
Yeah.
Buy the stuff. He keeps saying the lies.
Never. He knows. We're gonna get off this, and then he's gonna blow up the group chat, and we're gonna have a discourse for about like 20 to 30 minutes about whether or not who said what, and then it's all right.
I'm gonna have all 3 of you on the podcast in the future. I know me and Zach were talking about that pajama podcast before. So maybe we could do that. Maybe you guys could be the pajama podcast.
Yeah, I would love to.
There you go.
I'd
There,
absolutely love to.
it'll be fun. I'll have it all three of you guys. Since I've had you all separate, now I feel like that we could all come in together. And then we can talk about. I done the Chokeslam Chronicles with Dante Drago, Kylon King, and Trayvon Jordan. So now maybe we're gonna have to have like Gear Chronicles or something like that.
I don't even. I don't even.
I can't. There's so much to talk about here. So like I don't even know where to go because we're like jumping all over the freaking place. So you know what? Let's talk about this because we talked about like you said the photo shoot, and then we're gonna go back to matches or whatever like that because I want to shout out the photographers out here that they everything that they do for you guys between the backstage with the promos the photo shoots and everything like that. So you have promo photos and everything like that. Then the capturing like in the ring, live during it, like during match, making you guys look like amazing or whatever. But
Absolutely.
let's put this, you know, you guys had this great photo shoot. So I stole a couple of the pictures off your Instagram. So whatever, you know, I'm a mod in his thing, so you know I have to share it. I have to put it out there and everything like that, or I'm being demodded. Anyway,
yeah, it's part of the job qualifications. It is.
But like, look at like some of these photos. Like this is wild. Like, and I saw you took my in consideration for the profile picture on your ex and everything with the belt, because it's like these are, you know, great photos and everything like that. So I just took a couple. So a shout out to Harry, right? That's his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harry Aaron, he did the photos for us. He does a lot of work with Limitless, DPW. He's one of the best. One of the best.
These like photos are like beautiful. So like he was like live on his AGame was live on his stream, and he was sharing these photos with us and everything like that, and they're just like awesome. And I love like seeing these photos and stuff. And then I was like, ooh, like this would be kind of cool in like a black and white photo or something like that. So, but talk to us like a little bit. So like, you know, you guys, Quasi and like Angelo, like doing these photo shoots, like yes, like you have your singles, but like when you're doing these have to be like chaos a little bit and like having fun. So like tell us like how this works a little bit. Like, you know, like do you guys come up with this idea? Is like, you know, like in this particular moment, like was Harry the one like telling you what you guys need to do? Like give us a little bit about that.
I mean, as far as like what I really like that Harry did is that he gave us options to play music before he took the pictures or as he was taking like photos and whatnot. So that was really cool because like, you know, you get into like a lighter mood, you listen to songs you like, you know, you throw a couple jams on, whatever. I think what it was is what you see and why these photos are so good is because excuse me, I'm sorry. It's because we're obviously we're not the full complete versions of ourselves, but we are very comfortable and we are very expressive, and I think we are starting to understand who exactly our characters are and how our characters express themselves and how we can do these things in photos, in trios, pictures, tag pictures, singles. You know, I think we have learned about how to, I mean, you know, Angelo comes from a background in showbiz. Kwesi comes from a dancing background. You know, like I've had a background in combat and in, you know, in sports all my life. So we have been spotlighted before. So it's not that it's necessarily new to us. It's just that what you're seeing and what these pictures are is us in a very complete, comfortable version of ourselves. And that is a testament to what Diaspora is. That's a testament to just all three of us loving each other and being together as a group, as a unit, you know, whether it's by myself or with Kwesi or with Angelo, you know, I feel like we represent each other no matter what. So, you know, when we do these pictures or when we're together, or when, you know, like I said, when we do the singles tags and the trios pictures, it's very expressive because it's us. It's us being real. It's us being who we are. And it's us getting comfortable with where our trajectory of our characters want to go. And I think, you know, the more we take pictures down the line next year, the year after and whatnot, it's going to get only better. It's just that right now is such a, you know, when I say big 25, it's not bullshit. Like, you know, like right now is such a big time for all of our development because we're taking leaps in our careers that you're seeing it. You're
Right.
seeing it in still pictures and you're seeing it in our work. So that's a, like, you know, when we're together, when we did the trios and the poses and all that stuff, that was all just on the spot. That was all just what we felt, you know, that was all literally like, hey, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. Oh, okay, cool. Word. What do you think about this? Oh, okay, nice. And it just, I know for a fact it makes, you know, photographers' jobs easier when you're not just, you know, standing there and you're like, you know what I mean? But
Regular pose.
right, exactly. But it's telling the story of who your character is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's telling the story of what is, when you see that picture of me, Angelo, and Kwesi, the totem pole picture of me, Angelo, and Kwesi together, the trios picture, you see each of our characters in expression.
Mm-hmm.
You see who we are. You know what I mean? It's not a ranking of who's the leader and who's this. It's you literally see who is who in these pictures. You see that Angelo is the moment. You see Angelo serving, giving the faith, giving, you know what I mean? Like you see Angelo doing what he's got to do. You see Kwesi, like he's so expressive, so overly with his limbs, his body. You see it, and then you see me in the back, and it's like, oh, like this is like the squad. Like this is the gang right here. So,
mean mugging.
Right. So it's like, I think personally, it makes it easier when you're just around the people you love.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun. Like it's just so fun, you know.
I love that. Yeah, you definitely see like the chemistry there, and that's what makes it nice. And you know, you should have that chemistry if you're like a tag team or trios or whatever it is, you know, that somebody is. You need that chemistry, and between the three of you guys are all three different people. You can hold your own on your singles and everything like that, but then you have the chemistry when all, you know, whether it's like you and Angelo or you and Kwesi or like Angelo and Kwesi, like you just see like the chemistry. It just works. So definitely. Hi Jack. He goes, Big Apple Angle. What's going on? How are you?
That's my boy.
So we might as well, since he's in here, let's talk a little bit about ETU pretty much. So we got to talk about Matt Mikowski. And like, I know like this was amazing. And I sat at a show with Jack and Struggles. Shout out to Struggles also to like put on great stuff as well. And I was telling him how I was literally sitting in that couch back there watching the TV. My jaw was open like, my God, this is the match that I don't know why I never thought should have happened, that it finally happened. And I thank you so much for this match because it was so freaking good. I need best of 7. I've said it. Best of 7. And then, like, I could go for, like, you guys come together. You can tag together. It'd be killer. Pretty much going on here. But, oh, my God. Like, you guys killed each other. Like.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, so to touch on that, Struggles, who, shout out ETU, man, he gave me such a big opportunity. The first go around, you know, like I showed up at ICW with Bougie, with Jay Bougie, shout out Jay Bougie, showed up at ICW with Bougie, and he got like fucking decapitated by Homicide, and I carried him out, and you know, I spoke to Struggles a little bit after, and he's like, hey man, like, you know, I want to keep seeing you around. And you know, I showed up again to another show, and he was like, I take notice of these things, you know. And he gave me an opportunity at Summer Madness that later that year, which I was in the four corners, the 4-way, and you know, I did show out a little bit in there, and he was like, all right, let's see what you could do, and he gave me the match with Mikowski, and I've gotten like a lot of praise for that match, but that match to me is more of a lesson than it is anything. Matt Mikowski is one of the best independent wrestlers on this planet today, bar none. Like, That is not an argument. He is one hell of a talent. He is truly, if you want to take that next level, if you want to be one of the best independent wrestlers in the world, if you really, really, really want to do that, I 100% recommend getting in the ring with him. Mikowski, although a lot of people, it was a fun match and whatnot, he taught me more than I think he knows. A lot of people, I'll use boxing. When you're a boxer, you come up through the ranks, whether it's amateur or you just go pro. And what people do, or what your promoter does, or what your coach does, they give you kind of little fights here and there to tune you up, to get you ready. If you're a boxer, if you're a power puncher, they're going to give you somebody that only walks in on the inside, so you'll catch them with a nice left hook. If you're a power puncher, the next fight they're going to give you somebody that's a boxer, strict boxer, defensive boxer, so they want to see you knock that guy out. And then they're going to give you somebody that's a big power puncher too, so they want to see a brawl. And then after a couple wins and a couple times that you see if you can handle these things, they throw you the big test. They throw you the well-rounded guy. They throw you the world champion. They throw you the contender. And those are real deep waters. And Matt Mikowski put me in real deep waters. I told Struggles before the match, I was like, I'm ready. You'll see, I'm ready. And I realized in the ring, I was like, shit, maybe I'm not so ready. It's a different endurance. I definitely, my body, everything, my body, my mind, everything wasn't there. I was like so down after that match because I just felt like, man, like I feel like I really dropped the ball. I feel like I really was not ready for that moment. But with that being said, after, I think some YouTuber, and I forgot his name, and if I remember, I will shout him out because I don't want to be like some YouTuber. But this guy, he did a video covering the match, and it was a quick video, and he mentioned how much he enjoyed it. And you now saying how much you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I talked to Alyssa and to Jack, and I talked to Struggles, and they all said how much they enjoyed it. And nothing like that stuck with me. It wasn't until I talked to Mikowski himself, and I just was so beat up because, again, my endurance, a lot of things weren't there that I thought would be there. But again, when you want to wrestle on that level, everything has to hit. Everything has to hit. And I'm saying this to like all of my counterparts, all of my friends, everybody that like is about to take that step with me. You have to, like, if you're not working hard, it's going to show. If you're not putting that pain in, it's going to show. But Mikowski, when we were in the back, he just told me, he was like, hey man, when it comes to working this style that we work, doing the style of wrestling that we do, I think you're one of the best in the world. And that's what stuck with me. Not necessarily the match, because, I'm my own biggest critic, but what he said stuck with me because I value work ethic. I value finding a way. I value a lot of old values. I value a lot of things that like you have to get it out the mud. You have to go through some pain. You have to get some scrapes. You got to get some bruises in order to get the Band-Aids. You know what I mean? In order to see the limelight. So when Mankowski told me that, it just kind of lit something inside of me that I didn't even know was there. It made me feel a different level of confidence that I never had, and that's saying a lot because I do view myself as a confident person. I do view myself that I walk with my head on my shoulders and you know what I mean? Chin held high, all that good stuff. But when Mikowski told me that, it made me seriously sit there and feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. But whether I'm not ready right now, and to draw back to boxing, like boxers do that. When they lose those big fights, they go back and they understand like, okay, this is what I needed. before I can take this step. And I needed that. I needed that match with Mikowski. And I'm very happy that it happened towards the end of 2024 because I think it's a blessing in disguise. I think that was like, if you aren't ready for this, you're not ready for 2025. And I think that's what it taught me. So that match to me was more of a lesson than it was anything. And I would love to get in there and mix it up with Mikowski again, because I guarantee it will be something completely different. So yeah, that's just my thought process on it. But it definitely stuck with me what he said, and it definitely has made me a way better, way more motivated, and just way more focused competitor. So
yeah, this way, like I said, like 2 years ago to where you are now, and to like see, and I've been saying it, right? I've been putting it out there. I'm like, 2025 is his year. You know, it's just like certain people you just see like when things like click, and it's just like the path that, you know, like you said, like Landon kind of maybe like spark something, you know, and then it's like things like, I mean, we could talk about like Gary J, your match with Gary J. I feel like, you know, like these are all moments that, you know, like even like Landon, like I say it to Landon too, that it's like some of the things like set off the career, and then you just see that like the takeoff. And I love being here from like the beginning, watching the beginning to like where it's going.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
crazy.
Absolutely.
Jack says he goes that he was hyped when the match came up. He goes, Struggs is an old head, so he liked that about you. He goes, you look like you belong. The explosiveness was theirs. Most people don't have that. He said, was the person Vonnie, the YouTuber?
Yes, it was Vonnie. Yes. It was. Thank you, Jack. I'm like, I felt bad. I was like, I didn't want to be like, oh, from YouTuber. I hate that.
It's all good. He said the fall in the apron was nasty too. Oof.
Yeah. Honestly, like that, you know, it's like it always be the craziest things that don't hurt at all. Because that one was like, I'm cool. And
right.
I was like, that's fine. But then I got like a chest kick from Mikowski, and I was like, oh boy. I was like, oh boy. And then like when me and him were squaring up, and like when me and him were like hitting a little bit of the shoot boxing and whatnot, I was like, damn, he's real. Like he's real as fuck. Like
yeah.
I you know, I got my shots in, you know what I mean? I held my own.
Yeah.
But you know, I tried doing like a little Ali shuffle on him, and he did not budge at all. Like he's so experienced. He's such a vet. He's so he's so versed that like I was like, man, hopefully I could do something to kind of throw him off or whatever. So hopefully I could do something to kind of, you know, get my lick in or whatever. But he's well versed.
Jack said that match was so fun to commentate. It's very much my kind of match. See, we're all here for you. We're all behind this match. You are your biggest critic. You guys are the worst. I swear to God, because you guys are your biggest critics, and you're so hard on yourselves. And I say this to like probably every wrestler that I talk to, especially on this podcast. You guys are the worst.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? If it's not gonna be us, then who's it gonna be? Yeah. You know, there's not a lot of people in wrestling that are gonna straight up tell you like, I kind of suck. You know?
Yeah. You suck. No. No. But anyway, let's go back to like Gary J, because what I found very interesting, because I remember when this got posted and I was like, I'm so excited because I am that girl, and like you know that about me. A lot of people know that about me. It's like, okay, here's the girl from New York. She's not just following New York wrestling. No, she is following all over the place. And it was like when I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to watch this match because I know how damn good this match is going to be. So with that being said, like Gary J's been on this pod. Gary J wrestled Kylon King, and that was insane, you know. So it was like, so again, I was happy with you, but I was surprised that because Gary is known to have the hardest freaking chop, one of the hardest chops in indie wrestling, besides David McCall from The Rep. Okay, that's another one with the freaking hard chops and everything. But you said Landon was worse than Gary.
Dude, I'm going to look right in the camera when I say this. Landon Hale has the hardest chop I have ever in my life felt. Ever. That is not bullshit. That is straight up the truth. Landon chopped me once and split my chest. I literally walked behind the curtain. This is during our championship match, and I just walked behind the curtain. And Harry's like talking to somebody. As soon as I walk in behind the curtain, he looks at me. He's like, and I just went like this, and he was like, and it literally my chest was split, like straight up, like had a little skin loose from just one Landon chop. And like Landon, he's a Kentucky boy. He's got like that accent. So right before he chops me, he's like, sorry, Bubba, and just boom. I mean, dude. It sucked. It was something, dude. It was something. It was something.
Oh,
but I mean, like, you just got to grit your teeth and just bite down and just, work through it. But it was definitely something.
I can't. But talk to us about working Gary J. We love Gary J here. Like, he's amazing. Like, more Gary J up here. New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, please.
Yeah, Gary's awesome, man. He's awesome. He's another one where I was very looking forward to getting in there with, and Gary going in there, I knew it was gonna be somewhat of a dogfight, and I was looking forward for that. Like, I always love when like I'm matched up against a wrestler that's like known for being like hard hitting, known for being like a badass, known for being like so like just so rough and rugged, because that turns me up. That's like, oh, like you think, oh, okay, yeah, I'll show you. You know what I mean? And that was what the Gary J match was. That was a lot of fun. It was something of like a rite of passage. You know what I mean? It was something of like a rite of passage, because I wanted to break into that mold where it's like I can go anywhere, wrestle anybody, and I'm gonna go on your promotion and have one of the best matches on the show, if not the best. And Gary's very much someone of the same. He probably won't vocalize it because he's not really like that person to vocalize it, but he will show up in his little backpack and whatnot, his hat, and he'll show up and he'll sit there, and then you'll, watch him wrestle 30-40 minutes later, and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? And that's like a Gary J match. So yeah, I was very excited because I was like, okay, like this is my rite of passage. And we had that Gary J match. We're gonna go and beat each other up, and he's gonna see that like I'm real. Like I'm not, I'm very much not like a phony at this, like, and which he did acknowledge, and he did give me my props for after the match. And it made me feel good. Like I was happy because that was something I was very much looking forward to.
Yeah, it was good. That's, I believe, is on YouTube, right? I think I found it on.
It is on YouTube, and it is also on IWTV. That's for Hooligan Championship Wrestling, so it's HCW.
Yes, so definitely check that out, because I remember like laid in the bed, like watch. I was like, I have to watch. I think I was bothering you. I'm like, what is this out? Because I have to watch this match. I was like,
it's on my YouTube as well. Too.
Yeah, I get excited with all this stuff, so it's great. All Black Everything. We have to talk about this. Like I know, like if you guys have watched the Indie Talk episodes that I did, little backstage interviews and everything for that, you and Kylon. We talked a little bit about how like important it was for the month of February. Shout out to Brother Greatness. It seems like a lot of people want him to do this again and everything, which would be great. Yeah. It was fun. I know there was a couple like blips of like certain people had to pull offs, people got sick, people got hurt and everything like that. So I hope he does run like another one of this. But this was such a special moment in so many ways. I know Jack was like sad that he wasn't going to be there. Harry was messaging me. I was like FaceTiming Harry and everything like that, because this was the match, like you guys were the main event. And you touched lightly earlier about the whole thing about son, nephew, and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So again, like I said, we talked a little bit before your match in the Indie Talks episode. So now that, you've had this match, you have time to process. It just went up on IWTV last night. If you guys didn't watch it, go back, check it out. Give us a little bit more after like processing all this.
I feel like I proved my point, I think that match, I proved my point. I think Kylon had to really feel these hands. Like Kylon had to really get in there and see that, I again, like I had said earlier, like I had to separate myself from that mold, you know. And it all started with me and Kylon with my son, whatever. If if you're not versed in our culture, in Black culture, it's something that we say to each other as a term of disrespect, not a term of endearment. So when I call you my son, that's really because you are everything that you want to be everything that I am. That's what my son really means. So we've been doing that back and forth for years, and me and Kai never got in the ring. We never mixed it up. We never, we've had few interactions, in tags and multi-man matches, but it all culminated at All Black Everything, and it was a downright war. It was very hot. It was very it was very hot in there. It was very rugged, and it was very rough. But I think, when you get in there with me, you get something that you don't even expect. I'm the pretty boy shooter for a reason. Like, this face is very much a mask, because once that mean mug comes on, once that water hits my head, once I exit that curtain, and you hear me scream and yell, it's not like a like wrestler. It's like I'm no longer that person 5 minutes ago. I'm a fucking machine now. Like, I'm gonna go in there now. I want to rip your head off. And that's just how I've always been. And I think, people didn't take that seriously. And, Kylon and Miracle Generation, I don't think they took that seriously. It's I've only wrestled one of them, Flash, in a singles. And as that singles happened, I tore my meniscus. That was 3 years ago. So it was very much, I don't think you saw the full peak of what I am. And I think Kylon got the full glimpse. I think he got the full glimpse. So that was me, because I know the door's not closed. I know me and Kylon will mix it up again. I know me and Flash will mix it up again. I know me and Ichiban, I know that door's not closed. But that was me very much taking that head start. That was me very much planting my flag. Like, I am nobody's son now. Like, this is my show. This is my shit. I'm putting my flag down. I'm putting my foot down. You can step to me and try, but you're going to see something very different, So that match was very fun. I got to beat up Kylon for about 20 minutes. So that match was very fun. I posted the clip today on Twitter of me punching the shit out of him in the corner. So I know that was a feel good. So yeah, processing it afterwards. Obviously, it was a big event, and it meant a lot for a lot of people, and it meant a lot for me as well. Brother Greatness is one of my first trainers. Brother Greatness, he's seen me since day one. He saw me lock up in the ring. He saw, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's taught those kicks that I do today. He taught me them. You know what I mean? So like he's such a like I'm trying to think of the word for it, but he's so underappreciated. He's so undervalued. And he should be put on a pedestal because he's such an amazing person, and what he did for us in our culture. There's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of Black and brown wrestlers that were on that card that won't necessarily get the opportunities that most wrestlers in their area, or most wrestlers in their school, or most wrestlers in the same vicinity as them would get. You know what I mean? So it was a good opportunity for these people to showcase exactly what we do. There's no such thing as like Black wrestling in this. It's just wrestling. What we do is wrestling. We all live under that umbrella, and there's no difference between what we do and what they do. It's just because we are who we are. You know what I mean? So it was such a good show because it was like, here's the platform. You guys show exactly why we're here, and that's all we needed. And Greatness is such a So it's a blessing to have him around. I know he's the hallelujah, you know what I mean? But it is a blessing to have him around for real. So
yeah, I know him a long time, very long time before you started wrestling and stuff like that. So it's crazy. And that's why it was also like an important thing for me to like support him for this, because I knew this was something that he always wanted to run his own show. So this was like just like important, and just like to show the support for you guys. Like, you know, I do hope this is like an annual thing, maybe more than an annual thing or something like that, or maybe it can kind of go across different states. Like you said, a lot of people don't have these opportunities, you know, wherever it is at the promotion. So maybe that could kind of like push something like that, like in other states of, you know, coming together of us all loving wrestling.
absolutely.
So, Jack said that he was fighting the flu. I know you were living through my post though. Like I like came home and people already in my DMs like I need clips, and I think that I was focused on you and Kylon clips because it was so damn good, and I just kept posting. I'm sorry, but I love everybody that was on that card, but I started with you guys because it was just so good.
Yeah.
So shout out to all, you know, all that. It's too funny. Let me do some of these fan tweets here. So we have one from Good Cop, Bad Cop. Here comes this anagram question. So he said, AGame beat an anagram of Omega Japes. He says japes are childish pranks. What has been the most mega jape you have played, and the most mega jape played on you?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I gotta really think about like a good like childish prank that I've pulled on before. But like when I was a kid, my book bag was space bagged. Like I think like one time it was probably for like 2 weeks in a row. I swear. Like one time because what I would do is I would leave my bag in the classroom before we went to lunch, and then we would come back. So if you don't know what a space bag is when they open your book bag, turn it inside out, and put everything back inside, and zip the zipper inside out. So it's like your book bag is there, but your book bag is inside out with everything inside, and the zipper is inside, so you can't unzip it. So that happened to me for like I broke my zipper like the third time around trying to get it out, but like yeah, that happened to me for like a week or two straight, and it was just like, bro, please stop. Like it got to a point where I was like, I got to my class and I was just like, oh my god, bro. I tried hiding it in different cubbies, like yeah. That was not good.
They knew you were coming.
To me, yeah, I remember that happening to me quite often, and it was always like a group of. It was like my friends that did it, obviously, but then it was like one time just a group of kids did it, and it was just like so random. And then I was like, "Yo, why did you?" I remember this so vividly, and it was like middle school, and I went up to them, I was like, why'd you guys do that? I don't really like even know you guys like that. Like, why would y'all even think that was cool to do? And then they were like, "Oh, I thought it was something that we do because it's happened every single day for the past like 2 weeks." And I'm like, no, it's not something that we do. So yeah, my book bag's been space bagged quite a bit. Please do not space bag my book bag on the road. I will beat you up.
Edit this podcast out so to say
Yeah.
All right, we have another fan tweet from Michael. He said, if you had to live in any movie, what would it be?
I don't even know why. I don't know why I just thought about this, but I like it just came. The first thing that came to my head was Training Day with Denzel. I don't know why that was the first movie that just came to my head, but Training Day with Denzel Washington. So I'm gonna just go with that answer.
Okay.
which is basically just New York on a regular Sunday, but you know.
Good old New York here.
Yeah.
All right, another
Training Day with Denzel.
There you go. We love Denzel over here. Okay, another fan tweet from Andrew. He said, if you could have a superpower, but if it only worked on your friends, what would it be?
If it only worked on my friends. So I have to do it directly to them.
Or nobody else, like I guess like the average person wouldn't see it.
I would have like a shock factor, like electricity. But not like a deathly amount. Like I would just have enough to like where I touch you and it just shocks you every time, so that like when you're not this is where my mind goes to. So when you're not So when you're not paying attention or where you're like least expected, or if you're like sleeping, I could just go up to you and just be like, "Bloop," and just see your reaction, and then just walk away because you wouldn't even know it was me. So that would be my.
I feel like Angelo kind of needed that because of the red gear situation with you. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, you mother.
Yeah.
You said red, not blue. I can't. You guys are wild over here. So another fan tweet from Laura. Shout out Laura. You met Laura. She just like cracked me up the other day because she was like, what is your name? I was like, you know him. And she's like, no. I was like, you know him. You saw him at Blitzkrieg. Like, and then it clicked. You know, then it was like, and then it clicked. So she goes, what promotions do you want to join this year?
Whichever promotion will have the pretty boy shooter. I think it's a loss on any promotion that doesn't have me, to be honest. I think a lot of promotions try to stray away from having to go this route, and I think a lot of promotions try to stray away from. I think a lot of promotions try to recreate. I'll put it lightly. I think they like to recreate. I think they like to, put their own people on, grow their own talent. 100% fine. But you look at me, you look at Diaspora, you look at what we bring to the table, you look at what I'm doing this year, you look at, you look at everything that we're putting together. We're putting together something special. So if you're a promotion and you don't jump on this right now, it's going to suck for you guys to try and jump on it in a couple of years, because I'm telling you the access will probably be limited. So, I think any promotion that's willing to give an opportunity and have their socks blown off, that's a promotion that I'm willing to be at. I've learned to not desire as much because you let yourself down. You think you earn things, and then you really don't. People don't owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything. So if you would have asked me this question, Tiff, 2 years ago, I probably would have told you every promotion in the book. But now
we're growing.
Now we're growing. Being here for a little while, it makes me appreciate the promotions that do use me, that do give me that chance, because they see something in me. And a lot of promotions try to stray away from the truth. But when you look at myself, when you look at Angelo Carter, and when you look at Kwesi Asante, you see three of the best young upstarts in the Northeast independent wrestling scene today, maybe ever. And that's just how I feel. Like, I think in the 4 years, 3 years, 2 years that we've all been doing this, we've unequivocally stood out amongst so many people, and we stand side by side with a lot of people. But you look at all these people that we stand side by side with, and they've been doing this 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 5 years, whatever it is. We still got one hand on, you know what I mean? Like, we still got one hand of experience. Yeah. So I think, like, for us three and myself, I think we just bring something very special to the table, and it's silly if you can't capitalize that, and it's silly if you don't see that, So I think you can't hide from the truth. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna manifest some shit here, so it's like, if you're not gonna put it out there, this is like, he knows that I'm in like the DMs of the promoters, like harassing them, but like, listen, I need this match against this one. Or whatever, like, I'm constantly doing it. Like, a lot of wrestlers, like, you're the one in the background politicking for us, and I'm like, yeah, I am. I was like, because it's it's like, I'm pretty good at like pairing some stuff together. I could probably, like, I say it all the time, I could probably run a show, and I'd probably, like, Harry said that I'd be very dangerous because I would probably put a lot of people on the map, because I would put like people together that you wouldn't probably normally see in a match, and then like I feel like it would be just like a really good match and stuff. So that's the nice thing about being the whole thing of the Queen of the Indies and everything like that, and watching different promotions. I mean, I need you back at Action, Action's got something special going on down there, like.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I did the Futures, Again, that was another thing that it definitely taught me a lot. I was going through a lot like last summer. I'm not dealing with, but I've dealt with the big moving situation, and my, family has moved, and they're moving on, and I'm flying out the coop for my first time, and this is just me being on my own in my own world, and it's very nerve wracking. So I was kind of in the process of dealing with these things during the summer. So when I did the Future Showcase, my mind wasn't so tentative to wrestling. It was very tentative to my life, what is going to happen with my life. So I feel like I kind of dropped the ball on the opportunity, but I'm thankful for the opportunity. I went out there, I went down there. I mean, I drove to Action before, a couple months before that, or like way before, like maybe the summer before that. And I drove 13 hours to go do a Next Up, not even get on the Action show. I did a Next Up. And then I got right back in the car and drove 13 hours back to New York and wrestled Jordan Blade the next day. So Matt know who I am. Matt know exactly where I'm at. Matt knows exactly how I get down. And that's not to name drop any promotions. It's not no shots at nobody at all. But it's just that again, if you are willing to take the chance, if you're willing to, I don't think you would be losing any money. I don't think you would lose a couple dollars. I don't think financially it would hurt anybody. But I think what you get from me is you get quite possibly the best performance from anybody, from me to anybody. So you would see, I don't have to speak too much on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they know, and it's just it's if they're willing to pull the trigger.
I think it's hard too, like, right? Like you have like a regular show, right? Is mostly 8 matches, at least. Like you have cards that are far more or whatever, like you said, like you're in-growing talent and stuff like that, which is understandable. Sometimes, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Like sometimes things get stale after a while, and it's like I'm someone, because there's a million wrestlers out there and stuff like that. I want to see stuff that I've never seen before, and sometimes it winds up me finding new wrestlers. Like you could wrestle somebody tomorrow that I have no idea who they are, and then it's like, oh, now I have a new favorite or something that I saw something that I never saw before. So me, like, I like that it's like, someone like you, like you'll have an opportunity, you'll go down south or whatever like that, and then you'll wrestle, I don't know, like a Casey Owens or something like that, and it's like, oh, this could be like really freaking good or something. And then like Zach, like I got Zach on freaking Action, and he doesn't really know like a lot of the people there, and I had to like start explaining, okay, this is this person or whatever, like that this person is like really good and stuff. So that's what I like with that, is like I watch your guys' journey, and then you go into like different promotions, and then it's like, okay, now smorgasbord of new people now like, oh, now I get to see something completely different, that maybe like you were wrestled somebody like 5 times at 5 different promotions or something. It's like, okay, great, this is at the promotion A, promotion B, promotion C, I've seen this match 5 times over or whatever like that. I'm hungry for something different. Absolutely. So absolutely, that's what I'm looking more for, a little bit more in wrestling, and I think a lot of other people too are looking for that. Good Cop Back says, he goes, I have never heard of that, but this is amazing. He was talking about the zip bag. He says, guessing you won't have friends long if you keep zapping them.
Honestly though, like I feel like I'm so calculated that I would do it in so many subtle spurts. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I would just disguise it really well. Like, I don't think people would know that would be me. Like, I would play it off like, oh, did you feel that shock? Like, yeah. Like, I think I would be.
Like, it was the rug. It was the rug.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're standing on nothing but hardwood, but I'll be like, yeah, it was the rug.
I can't. Okay. So, of course, you travel with your boys all the time and stuff like that. What is the go-to road trip snack?
Shout out Sheets, first of all. I'm big Sheets.
Wow.
I'm big Sheets. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
That's it. This podcast is over. No.
I'm big Sheets though. I'll get me 2 waffle chicken sandwiches. 2 waffle chicken sandwiches and the cheese curds that they got there. Man, let me tell you something. 2 waffle chicken sandwiches, cheese curds, Celsius, and like if I really want a snack, if I'm really like, oh, I need something like to munch on while I'm driving, either like some sort of like granola, or if I usually would have like a sweet tooth or something, so I'll do like some like gummy peach rings. Peach rings is definitely like up there for sure. I'll definitely snag like one or two before the trip is done.
Interesting. See the things you learn here. So when you see him, you bring him some peach rings, pretty much.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm gonna do two final questions. There's so much that we could sit here, we could talk about and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
It could just go on and forever. So let's do this. So let's call your shot with like 2025. Okay, like there's so much that can happen. We just started and everything like that. Give us like 3 wrestlers you hope that will happen in 2025.
So yeah, I mean, Jonathan Gresham out here looking for bookings. So yeah, put me against Jonathan Gresham. I mean, he needs me. I don't need him. He's out here looking for bookings. He's putting his graphic out there. So he needs some work, bros. I'll give it to him. I'll give him some work. So definitely, yeah, you know what I mean? Click this, tell John come see me. Tell Johnny Boy come see me. I'll help him out. I'll give him the little boost he needs, give him the little whatever he needs. Tell Johnny Boy come see me. That's definitely one. I know he need that. 2, I'll say I was just going back and forth. Cool. 2, I'll say Akira Kwan.
Okay.
I was just going back and forth with him today on Twitter, so I need that with Kwan as well, man. I think very underrated talent. He's someone that's very selective about what he does. Do he be ducking fades? I don't really know. I don't really want to speak too highly on that. But when I win this remarkable world championship next weekend, he's definitely the first person I'm looking at, because I definitely need that as well. And then lastly and not least, I'm going to say Dijak. And the reason because I say Dijak is because I think that Donovan Dijak is a phenomenal talent. However, I don't think he looks at what's coming out of New York and New Jersey. I see him hell of a lot all over the world, all over the country, but there's some talent that will give him a run for his money. That is based out of New York. I've been in many locker rooms with him. I've been in many spaces where he's been. We just haven't crossed paths. And I know when we do cross paths, and after we cross paths, he's going to say to himself, damn, this little motherfucker got something. And that's the impression that I love to leave on these well-established guys. I love to go in there and they're just thinking like, who the fuck is this cocky little shit? Like, who's he think he is? And then after we wrestle, I love the feedback afterwards. I love hearing the like, oh yeah, actually pretty good. Like, I love getting that. So I think Dijak definitely needs to come see me, because it's just only a matter of time. We've been in this very, 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 we've been in a lot of spaces together, and I'm tired of just passing people and being like, oh man, I want that match. Like, nah, next time I pass you, we needed that. I need that. So, yeah, I think, and I think those are all very realistic matches that probably will happen this year.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking into those 3 matches. I think those are 3 matches that will probably put me exactly where I need to be. And I think those are 3 matches that I am, I do like to talk my shit. I cannot lie, but I do know that I can back it up against some of the best wrestlers in the world.
I like that. Jack says Quan versus AGame promos would go crazy.
No, it won't. I'd fry him. I'd cook him up and dice him, man. I'd fry him. I'd fry him.
Good Cop Bad Cop says Sandwich Time returns to Under the Ropes for a third consecutive episode. Oh, are we shout out Super Sandwich?
I can't shout out Super Sandwich, bro, because I've never had it, and then it closed on Sundays. And like, bro, let me tell you something. If there's a time that I've ever needed a super fucking sandwich in my life, was after I was bleeding buckets on Sunday. Like, if there was ever a time for
I give them all
have super sandwich,
all this free advertisement here.
yeah, if there's ever a time for me to have super sandwich, bro, would have probably been that weekend.
I'm telling you, that's the spot that I go with the wrestlers before and after shows. Like, so we have to go. We have to go. Like the next BST show, we have to go.
Hopefully it's open.
They're just closed on Sunday. I didn't even know that they were closed on Sundays. But if you think about it, every time that I've gone there was either during like wrestling open or during Harry's Friday shows. So Harry usually doesn't run on Sundays. Yep. So I didn't know.
Yep, that's true. That is very fair.
So, but Shaq says, I just want to see the battle rap come out.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie though. Like Quan got some good taste, bro. Quan got some good taste in battle rap music. Like he's really like my OG, man. Like me and Akira Quan, like I used to FaceTime him and watch my like first. I'm talking about year one. I used to FaceTime him and we would like watch my matches together, and he would break down all the stuff that I should be doing and whatnot. And we have a very similar music taste as well, because he loves like battle rap music and whatnot. I love battle rap music as well. I've been watching battle rap since I was like 8 years old. So he knows everything about battle rap music, and like I'm very inclined as well. So yeah, that's a good one too.
All right. So if you guys have any other questions, drop it into the chat. Like I said, I'm sure more stuff is probably going to come up anyway during it. I know we've been going like an hour and 20 minutes strong pretty much here. So like, I love, like I figured like I'm probably going to end off a lot of my podcasts with this, the wrestling with positivity, because obviously we know there's so much negativity in wrestling. I like to focus on the positive. I'm sure a lot has changed in the last 2 years since you've been on here. So anything that you could tell us, something maybe a fan's done for you or you've done for a fan, maybe a wrestler's done for you, maybe something that wrestler's done, that you've done for a wrestler, anything that you would share that we wouldn't know.
I would honestly just say the words from Mikowski at ETU. I think in the last 2 years since I've been on the podcast, I think that's probably something that's going to stick with me for quite some time. Just because Mikowski is, again, one of the best wrestlers in the world. So when you hear something from someone like that, where it's uplifting and it's positive when you're not necessarily feeling uplifted or positive in that moment, sticks with you. So those words will always stick with me, and they will always drive me to be better. And I think if I could say something to, if you're a wrestler watching or if you're one of my peers or whatnot, I would just always say to always think about what drives you. And if you think you're not doing enough, think about what drives you. And that's for certain. It gives me the motivation to get off my ass and do what I need to do. There's some days where I don't feel like streaming. There's some days where I don't feel like going to the gym. There's some days where I don't feel like doing shit. But it's just about those words that Mikowski said to me hold a lot of weight. And it motivates me every time. So I think that's something that was needed. And when he said that, it stuck.
Okay. I love that. So much love to him. I love Matt. I feel like he's another one that I need to bring back because so much has happened since the last time. Like he's went through injury, and I was waiting for so long for him to come back. And I would like randomly like message him or tweet him, and then I would be like, "When are you coming back? When are you coming back? When are you coming back?" So he's back, and I love him. He's definitely like one of the best out there in the indies, so want to see him more. So hey, listen, we're putting it out there, man. We're manifesting. Like you and him, Bloodsport, like a big platform like that one day. I feel like that can, be something definitely possible one day.
I 100% agree.
So we'll see what happens with that. So let's talk about what you got coming up, because I know, like, again, there is still promotions that, you know, like there's so much. We could sit here for hours and hours to talk about like every promotion, and I'm not taking anything away from all these promotions. I love Grind. You obviously, like, I've done indie talk episodes. You've been behind the scenes at Grind, so shout out to Rip and Delmy doing wonderful things. I'm glad that they're back. That's coming up soon. So and then you guys, your match got announced today.
I know, yeah.
So-
Dude, I literally was like what, 45 minutes before we got on.
So,
Oh my God.
like, so they like doing amazing things up at Grind. So I don't want to take like anything away from that, but I am glad that they are back, and I have to get back up to Grind. It's just one of those places that there's nothing like it with the fans, you know. Like me and Ethan had talked about this before. I remember the first time being up at Grind, physically being in the building, and it really, like, you know, there's promotions like that you go and the fans are really into it. Like, not dead. No, they're into it. And this is like quality wrestling.
Yep. Yeah. Grind's, I mean, yeah, I don't want to take up too much time either, but yeah, Grind's, man, like, I always tell people, you got to go to a Grind show.
Yeah.
Like, 100%. So the IWTV doesn't do it justice. It's always really, really well put together, and the shows are amazing to watch back. But when you go there, it's a different energy, and it's always like maybe like 100 people, maybe a little bit more max. But dude, it feels like you're in like Allegiant Stadium. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's such an energy, you know. And the people, the crowd loves it. They're always up. They love it.
Yeah. And now Andy Brown is back too. That's another one, like, you know, that's, you know,
Absolutely.
You guys, I'm here for it. Like, let's go.
Yeah. I would love to slap his bald ass head. I would love to.
I can't. So then you got Remarkable. You talked a little bit about that. That's coming up, which is crazy. So shout out to Kono, another one that's doing like such amazing stuff. So next week, I know like Effie's wrestling Brother Greatness, which is going to be freaking awesome. So definitely check that out. I don't think that'll be live, right? No, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think it's recorded.
Yeah,
It goes
I don't
up.
believe so.
So, but that's out in Long Island also. So you have that coming up. And then, of course, Battle Club Pro as well, which is great.
Yes. Yeah, they're at Ale Life Brewery now in Queens, New York. So, yeah, it's they had their return show last weekend, which was a lot of fun, man. You know, it's Battle Club's one of the first promotions to give me a shot. So I you know, through and through, it's one of my homes, one of my mainstays, and you know, we've got a long journey back up to title contention. We've got a long journey back up to prominence over there, but you know, I'm very, very patient because I know the payoff is always going to be worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So check these out. You know, tell everybody where they could follow you, support you, all that fun stuff too.
Yeah, everybody could follow me at Joseph AGame on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram. I think that might be it. Yeah, you can follow me all over on at Joseph AGame. I stream on Twitch a bunch of nonsense, so there is no schedule. It's just whenever I really feel like it, but it's usually at least like 3 times a week. But when I do you could ask Tiff. It's a lot of fun. We shoot the shit, we chat, and we play some video games, and it's a lot of fun. It's something that I've always been interested in doing, and always something that I did prior to wrestling. So I was like, oh, let's combine the two. Let's have some fun with it. And Twitter, Twitter, I'm always on there. I live on Twitter and Instagram. So that's all Joseph AGame. Y'all can find me there. Y'all know what to do. You can see me upload a picture. You better like it. I'm not playing with you.
He'll threaten you in his chat on Twitch.
I will.
He'll kick you out. He'll boot you.
I will.
He'll put me on you to block
my
you.
mods will ban you.
I definitely think you should do more like watch alongs. Like you should make that like one of your thing, even if it's like one of your matches, or even if it's something like completely different that you should do that kind of like expose you more or whatever. So like maybe you could do like I said, maybe like even like one match to kind of expose like new fans, like maybe that they're not as familiar with your wrestling. Maybe they're coming in for gaming, but if you're watching like wrestling, be like, hey, look, I wrestle and stuff like that. We're gonna watch this match or something like that. But even like we were watching Rico Gonzalez versus Alex Zane that I had suggested to you to watch, and it's like one of my favorite matches that stays in my brain. It's always like matches that stay, and that was definitely one that stayed. And like you didn't watch it until I told you to put it on and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of fun that like to host. I feel like I should probably do that. I should probably like host watching matches with people because there's so much out there that needs to be exposed into the indie wrestling world. So anything else you want to touch base that we didn't? I mean, like I said, I know there's so much. we could probably be here for hours talking about everything. Like, you know.
No, I mean, I feel like we got everything. Lastly, I just want to say if there's any tag team that has a problem with me saying that Diaspora, the Ancestral City Shooters, myself, Kwesi, and Angelo, if you have any problem with us saying that we're the best tag team in the Northeast, if you have any problem with that, you can come see us. That's an open invitation. Please come see us because we are putting foots and mouths all year. If you have any problem with me saying that I'm one of the best talents in the Northeast, if I'm one of the best upstarts, up-and-comers in this world, in this country, whatever you want to call it, you can come see me. I am unapologetically me. I am unapologetically who I am, and I'm having the most fun I have had wrestling because I'm starting to be unapologetically me, and it's a lot of fun. And if you guys have a problem with it, I am right here. So I am right here, and I'm looking forward to seeing who wants to step up. But I don't think many people want to. But we'll wait for that to play out.
Well, they should, because I want to see some good wrestling here. You know,
Absolutely.
like I'm here. You know, I have the money to go see some shows, and you know, like I want to watch good wrestling. You know, pretty much, and I'm sure everybody else does. So. But yeah, no, things are coming back on here. Like, you know, there's always,
Thank you for having me,
pleasure. Tiff. Absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, next week, I'm taking a break. I'm probably going to do an upload of an Indie Talks episode next week. So maybe something will change. We'll see. Right now, I need a break. So next week, an Indie Talk episode of going to be at Fight Life next week. So expect an upload of backstage interviews and all that fun stuff. So with that being said, stay safe, support independent wrestling. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.